Late disappointment for the U.S., a crazy night in CONCACAF, and all eyes back on MLS this weekend. That and more next on The Daily. Hey everyone, I'm Josh Weisenhunt, joined here by Greg Lawless. Obviously the big news from last night, the U.S. men's national team 1-1 draw on the road to Guatemala in Guatemala City. Clint Dempsey opening the scoring for the Yanks in the first half before Marco Papa of the Chicago Fire, a stunning late equalizer from outside the area. Greg, what did you think about last night's performance?
Well, Josh, I mean, honestly, when you think about this game, you would say when you go on the road and you get a draw, it's good, especially in Central America. This is the first trip for Jurgen Klinsmann since he took over the national team to go down to Central America for a competitive match. And I think he'll be pleased with the way it came out. The U.S., for the most part, dominated the game. Yeah, Guatemala got a little bit of pressure on them in the second half, and of course they got that great goal. But other than that, it wasn't really a huge test for the U.S. I think they'll be disappointed that they gave up that equalizer. But ultimately, you draw on the road, you win at home, and after these first two games in qualifying, that's what they did. I think they'll be pleased with it all.
Yeah, and of course they will be pleased by the other result in Group A action. Jamaica, a surprise, I think, to some, 0-0 draw on the road to Antigua and Barbuda. That Antigua and Barbuda side is surprising some people, putting up some stiff competition.
Yeah, they're putting up some stiff competition, but at the same time, this is a Jamaica team that I think people expected to do much better than this. To go to the little minnows of this group and not get 3 points, that really puts a dent into Jamaica's chances in Group A. Right now, the U.S. basically on top, tied with Jamaica on points, but the U.S. ahead on goal differential.
Yes, and then of course the Yanks and the Reggae Boys will come together on September 7th. That is when qualifying will resume for Group A. In other action around CONCACAF, Canada 0-0 draw at home with Honduras. Greg, the Canadians on 4 points through 2 matches. How do you think they're feeling?
Well, I think that's the way they wanted it to be when they came into this originally last week. They said if we can get 4 points out of our game in Cuba and at home against what is considered the Group C favorites in Honduras to at least get a draw, maybe get 3 points, I think they'd be happy with that. Saying that, I think that Canada had some chances to actually pull off a win here and get 3 points. So maybe there's a little disappointment, but when they take the longer view, I think they'll be happy with 4 points from their first 2 games.
And then the other Group C match, Panama 1-0 winners. But Greg, the big story in that one, Blas Perez having to go off and actually carted to the hospital.
Yeah, I think this is one that FC Dallas is going to be a little concerned about. He took a collision and had to go off, but Panama on top of Group C, having gotten 2 wins. Blas Perez got 2 goals in the game last Friday. But he didn't get a goal in this one. It's a 1-0 victory for them in this. So I think that there was concern about Blas Perez. We're still have to wait and see what happens when he gets back to FC Dallas. 2
more results for you around CONCACAF. Costa Rica 4-0 winners over Guyana. Alvaro Saboria of Real Salt Lake with a hat trick in that one. And then Mexico 2-1 winners over El Salvador in San Salvador in somewhat controversial fashion.
Well, there's a question whether that second goal was offside. Whatever. It happens. You're in El Salvador, you get 3 points. Mexico will be happy with it. I think El Salvador will probably be disappointed, but I think ultimately in this group, Mexico and El Salvador are the 2 teams that will get through.
And of course, after what was a 2-week break from regular season play in MLS, we have matches starting up this weekend again, Greg. And I think a lot of people are excited to see some of the new faces. Obviously, Danny Mwanga in Portland, Marco Di Vaio joining up with Montreal, and Jorge Perlaza with his new Philadelphia Union side.
Yeah, and Di Vaio actually reporting early to Montreal. He went through training just yesterday for the Impact. So obviously, he's excited to be joining his team. He won't be playing quite yet, but you do expect to see Jorge Perlaza suiting up for the Union. He actually got some time in their exhibition friendly against the Harrisburg City Islanders yesterday. He even got a goal for them, but the Union lost 3-2 in that one.
And up in Vancouver, they got word on just how long their young forward Omar Salgado is going to be out.
Yeah, it looks like it's a 2 to 4 month break for Omar Salgado after he had surgery to repair that broken 5th metatarsal that he suffered in a game for the U.S. Youth team down in Uruguay last week. But there's also news going on around the Whitecaps right now that's going on Twitter. It has nothing to do with the way they're playing. Long Tan going on Twitter and criticizing the club, and Martin Rennie, the coach, coming out and saying, just don't criticize other teams, other players, or anyone within your own club. Basically, Martin Rennie coming out and saying, don't criticize anyone on Twitter. That's the new rule around the Whitecaps.
Now the second Twitter flap of the year for Vancouver, Martin Rennie really laying down the law. That is all we have here on The Daily. Make sure you stay tuned to MLSsoccer.com. Power 5, counting down the top 5 keys to qualifying for the U.S. men's national team. And stay tuned to Kick TV. Follow Jimmy Conrad all the way through his travels at the Euro 2012 tournament. We will talk to you guys tomorrow.